If you grew up in the same time period as I did, which I'm an elder millennial, so like 90s, early 2000s, you'll know exactly what I mean by society was a society of judgment back then. Everyone was judged for every decision they made, everything that they did. No information or importance was put on mental health. It was all, if your house is messy, it's because you're lazy. If you didn't shower that day, it's because you're a slob. If you didn't, dress to the nines and have a face full of makeup, it's because you didn't care about yourself. And all of those things are just so incredibly not true the majority of the time. And it took me a really long time, and a special needs kid, truthfully, to kind of start to deconstruct that societal stigma in my brain. I would find myself going and bringing meals to some of my friends who were new parents and judging them because their house was messy. And I'm not that person. I'm not a judgmental person. But I had to deconstruct that intentionally in my brain. And I had to frame it in a realistic and correct light. And that they're not lazy. They're not, slobs or anything even close to that. They have a barrier to entry. And those are two completely different things. They have a newborn that's attached to their boob, quite literally. They are not sleeping. They're not eating. They're barely having time to take care of themselves. That's a barrier to entry. That's not an excuse. And it's okay to acknowledge that you have a barrier to entry. My house was messy today, really messy, and dog hair was abounding. And it's not because I was lazy, and it's not because I'm making an excuse that corners of my house get to look this way. I'm acknowledging that I have a barrier to entry. I have a special needs child. I have a child that takes more time and attention and care than your typical 9-year-old. I can't leave him to his own devices. I can't ask him to clean up his room and expect at least a decent job to be done. I don't have those luxuries. And that's a barrier to entry for me. And it's not an excuse. So today, if you're finding yourself with that negative self-talk about being lazy, maybe reframe it and just acknowledge your barrier to entries.